Amazing moment, millionaire CEO takes autistic son on blind date, one girl's heartwarming gesture changes everything. Ethan, the millionaire CEO living in the picturesque town of Maplewood, was no stranger to pressure. His company was booming, but that success felt small compared to the weight he carried as a single father. His heart ached with the strangest mix of hopes and fears for his son, Noah. At 12, Noah was brilliant and captivating, but as a boy on the autism spectrum navigating the social maze of middle school, his path was littered with struggles. Ethan spent sleepless nights fretting over Noah's future, searching for ways to bridge the widening emotional gap between them. In a burst of courage, Ethan devised a plan he hoped would change everything: an opportunity for Noah to experience a typical rite of passage, a blind date with Emma, a sweet girl from the neighborhood. But as they pulled into the parking lot of the bustling diner, anxiety gripped Ethan. He could sense Noah's uneasy fidgeting hands, lip-biting, hesitant steps. Just moments before they entered, Ethan glanced at his son, worried that the world outside might not welcome them. Inside, the diner was alive with laughter and chatter. Teenagers, carefree and confident, filled the booths, while Ethan led Noah to their corner where Emma sat, simply lovely, nervously twisting a lock of her hair. The contrast was overwhelming. This should have been their moment, yet Ethan felt the tension creeping in as Noah struggled with conversation starters. "Hey, do you like pizza?" Noah blurted, his voice shaking slightly. Emma, with a kind smile, replied affirmatively, but Ethan watched as the uncertainty clouded her expression. The initial warmth slipped away as Noah retreated into an awkward silence, visibly aware of the shifting atmosphere. Ethan's heart sank, he could feel the weight of judgment that surrounded them, pushing Noah deeper into his shell. As Noah shifted, sensing rejection, Ethan felt a fire ignite within him. He hated seeing his son unappreciated, wanting nothing more than to kill the stereotypes that people clung to. Just when despair threatened to overwhelm them, a flicker of hope flickered nearby. Lily, Emma's younger sister, observed from a distance. With the bravery typical of childhood, she stepped forward, a genuine smile lighting up her face. "I love your shirt, Noah," she exclaimed. That small, heartfelt compliment was a lifeline, a bridge to connection that startled Ethan. Noah's face transformed, a glimmer of recognition igniting those familiar, darkened eyes. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." As laughter and newfound warmth filled the small space, another patron's rude comment cut through the harsh, ignorant barb, igniting a tide of indignation within Ethan. "What's wrong with that kid? Why's he so weird?" The words hung heavy in the air, a knife slicing through fragile spirits. Ethan's fists clenched at his sides as Noah's cheeks flushed, confusion clouding his bright mind. The moment hung thick with tension. How they would respond now carried an immense weight. Would they let the darkness define them, or rise as allies against social prejudice? Ethan felt the gravity of their situation mount. This now was more than just a date, it was a test of resilience, of family bonds, of love that transcends petty judgment. Each second felt like an eternity, leaving Ethan grappling with a universe of unshared dreams and fears. Just like that, an ordinary evening turned into an extraordinary battleground for acceptance and understanding. What would happen next would not only define their relationship but reshape their journey together forever. Ethan could feel the turmoil in Noah's body, a tightness that spoke louder than any words. As the laughter continued around them, the silence at their table became deafening. He desperately wanted to protect his son from the harshness of the world. But how? Noah shifted in his seat, the embarrassment of the comment weighing heavily on his shoulders. Ethan looked at Emma, whose bright smile had dimmed, replaced by worry. She glanced at her sister, looking for a hint of guidance. Lily, with the innocence of youth, was busy doodling on a napkin, blissfully unaware of the emotional storm brewing. Ethan took a deep breath, steeling himself. "Noah," he said softly, his voice steady. "You are more than what some people think." He squeezed Noah's hand gently, urging him to meet his gaze. "Remember the talent show? You brought down the house with that magic trick." Noah's eyes flickered, a small crack in the wall of his tension. The memories of performing, the applause, and the way his heart raced with excitement rose to the surface. Ethan felt the tiniest shift in Noah. He was consciously trying to shake off the negativity that had seeped in. Emma spoke up, her kind tone breaking the lingering unease. "I think magic tricks are super cool. Do you have another one you can show us?" Her eyes sparkled, hopeful. Lily looked ready to burst with anticipation, her small fingers twitching in excitement. Noah hesitated before nodding slightly, the flush still coloring his cheeks. Yeah," he mumbled, swallowing hard yet looking at Emma now. "I know one where, I make a coin disappear." "Awesome. Let us see it." Emma clapped her hands, her enthusiasm infectious. With a shy smile, Noah reached into his pocket and pulled out a coin. Ethan watched in awe as Noah focused, channeling his nerves into the magic he loved. Everyone leaned in as he flipped the coin into the air, catching it with a flourish. For a few precious seconds, Noah transformed. He was the performer, no longer a boy lost in judgment but a young magician igniting curiosity instead. The table erupted in genuine applause, and Ethan's heart swelled with pride. He looked over at Noah, who was now beaming a spark of confidence breaking through the clouds that had darkened his spirit. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Yet, just as the atmosphere began to lighten, the rude patron from earlier scoffed from his booth. "Look at that freak trying to be normal. What a joke." His ugly words cut through the laughter, instantly freezing the room. Ethan felt his heart drop again. He wanted to scream, to protect Noah from that kind of cruelty that always seemed to find a way into their lives. But he clenched his fists, reminding himself that showing anger wouldn't solve anything. Instead, he decided to turn to the people around them. "Who else here loves magic?" Ethan asked. His voice rang out, a bold challenge in the diner that stilled conversations momentarily. "Let us celebrate all unique talents, shall we?" A couple of teenagers nearby, caught off guard, exchanged glances before slowly nodding in agreement. They began to clap, and more joined in, turning the moment into a light of communal support. As more applause washed over Noah, Ethan's heart raced. It was a beautiful reminder that the world wasn't entirely dark. Somewhere between the judgment and kindness, acceptance lived. Noah looked around, his expression shifting from confusion to an overwhelming sense of belonging. The shadows dared to lighten. Just when it felt like the tide had turned in their favor, Ethan caught sight of a figure entering the diner. A familiar face that brought a wave of uncertainty crashing back. Would this visitor become a beacon of support or another challenge? Ethan's heart raced as he recognized the newcomer. This could change everything. Ethan's breath hitched when he recognized the newcomer. It was Anton, a former colleague from his last job. Anton stepped in with an air of confidence, his tailored suit sharply contrasting with the casual diner atmosphere. Ethan's stomach sank. They had worked closely together and had shared aspirations, but Anton's world was so far removed from Ethan's. A group of friends hovered around Anton, laughter bouncing off the walls. They were the kind of people who had everything handed to them: looks, connections, charm. It felt so painfully obvious that they were all too ready to judge. What would Anton think of Noah? Would he see the same raw magic that Ethan tried so hard to highlight? Ethan's heart raced again, not just out of worry but a sense of defensiveness. He wanted to leap across the table and shield Noah from whatever comments may come. Still, a flicker of hope peeked through his anxiety. Perhaps this was an opportunity, a chance for Anton to see the kind of son Ethan was raising. At that moment, Noah caught a glimpse of Anton and momentarily froze. The smiles on the faces of his newfound supporters dimmed as they caught sight of the commotion. It was as if the room held its breath, suspended between the embarrassment of facing judgment again and the hope of acceptance. "Hey, Ethan!" Anton called, waving as he made his way over, bringing his entourage with him. His eyes, sharp and scrutinizing, landed on Noah. "I see you're still a magician." There was a slight smirk that only half reached his eyes, but it felt like a jab. Ethan could feel Noah tense, the shadows returning to his son's face. "Yeah," Noah replied, his voice a whisper. "Nice," Anton added, though the word felt anything but genuine. "You still doing that?" He looked at the group, raising an eyebrow as if to invite their judgment. It took everything within Ethan to hold his ground. "He's amazing at it," he replied, his voice steady, clutching Noah's hand tighter. "He really wowed everyone at the talent show. You should have seen it." A couple of teenagers from earlier chimed in, encouraging Noah with enthusiastic gestures. "He just did a trick," said Emma, her bright smile returning. "It was super cool. Can't you do it again, Noah?" Noah looked at Emma, the light in her eyes igniting something within him. He took a breath, drawing from the moment, feeling the support filling the air around him. He nodded, the flush still lingering on his cheeks, but determination started to set in. "Okay," he said quietly, standing up from the booth. He reached into his pocket again and held the coin, though now his hand trembled not from fear but from something else, resolve. Anton crossed his arms, a skeptic in the crowd rather than a supporter. "Let us see this, then," he challenged, clearly not convinced. Noah looked over without wavering. "All right." He flipped the coin, his heart racing just as it had on stage. As he maneuvered his hands, a flicker of joy returned to his expression. Silence hovered for a second, except for the sound of the coin glinting in the lights. Just as Noah was about to reveal the final trick, another voice sliced through. "Why bother?" It was Anton's friend, dismissive and loud. "It's not like he's really good at it." Ethan's stomach sank again. This was going south too quickly. Noah's body language shifted, his shoulders slumping. Ethan could almost feel the weight of the judgment pressing down on them. But suddenly, an unexpected sound rose above it all. Lily, in all her innocent fervor, exclaimed, "Noah is the best magician. He made me believe in magic." Her excitement swept through the air, breaking the tension and catching everyone off guard. Noah's eyes widened at his sister's words, taking yet one more breath, this time filled with unexpected love and support. As the tides turned, could Noah truly reclaim the moment? Would he let the warmth of acceptance prevail over the sting of judgment? Ethan felt the weight of anticipation holding them all in place. Noah's hands glimmered, poised to reveal something magical. Would it be enough to change the mood? Or would Anton's presence overshadow everything? Noah steadied himself as he faced Anton and his crew. The weight of their scrutiny wrapped around him, but Lily's words hovered in the air like a protective shield. He felt a spark, the kind that ignited when he performed on stage. With a deep breath, he focused on the coin, the small object now feeling monumental in his palm. He flipped the coin through the air, a dance of silver catching the light. The room silenced further, all eyes now glued to him. He could feel Ethan's encouraging gaze, steady and full of belief. It grounded him. "Okay," he whispered, channeling everything he had learned about magic. He felt a light tingle of excitement surfacing through his nervousness. As he began to twist and turn his hands, he could hear the faint shuffle of Anton's group, their dismissive chatter faintly surfacing again. "Is this really a show?" Anton's voice cut through, a layer of sarcasm lacing his question. "Seems a bit amateurish for the crowd we have here." Every word stung, but instead of faltering, Noah drew strength from his family around him. He imagined his audience from the talent show, the cheers, the applause. He pushed down the doubt, letting it zap away like magic. "I'm going to show you something special," he declared, voice steady, filled with newfound conviction. He finished his sequence, fingers flying gracefully, transforming the coin's movement into something mesmerizing. Gasps erupted around him as he revealed the coin vanished from his hand, only to reappear behind a bystander's ear. Laughter melded with surprise, eyes lighting up around the diner. Even Anton seemed momentarily taken aback. "Whoa!" Emma exclaimed, clapping excitedly. "Did you see that?" Noah beamed. It felt as if a part of him, the part that longed for acceptance and joy, unfurled wide open. The spark inside forced its way up and out, lighting his face. Anton's smirk faltered. Perhaps, just maybe, he hadn't expected Noah to deliver. The confidence that coursed through Noah filled him with undeniable joy. He executed the next trick with more passion, forgetting the heads that had frowned upon him moments before. With each twist, each reveal, the atmosphere shifted. Reassurance trickled in. Cheers erupted around the diner, energy bouncing back like a rubber band. Each pair of eyes that had once bore judgment now held admiration. "Okay." Anton rolled his eyes, trying to dismiss it. "Let us see you do something challenging. What else can you pull out of that hat?" Noah paused. This was his moment. He and Ethan had spoken of perseverance, pushing boundaries. He twisted and focused once more, inviting the audience closer. Heart racing, he conjured the confidence to go one step further. Noah listened to the whispers of excitement. Among them were shattering expectations. As he pulled a folded card out from thin air, it felt personal, as though he were revealing a piece of himself. And as he unveiled the card, a heartfelt drawing that expressed love and family, Ethan's eyes connected with his. In that instant, Noah understood that magic wasn't merely about tricks, it was about connection, joy, and overcoming what once felt insurmountable. He turned slightly, inviting anyone willing to embrace the moment. Would they join him in this triumph? "Here's the real magic," Noah declared. "This is my family. All of you are welcome to believe in it, too." Just as the applause began to swell, Anton spoke again, his tone shifting. "I didn't know you could draw," he remarked, almost reluctantly but with a hint of sincerity. Noah's heart raced, not from fear but from encouragement. This opening could turn everything. But would Anton really come around? What else would it take for acceptance to find a place in the company of judgment? As Ethan watched, a glimmer of hope sparkled in his eyes. Noah could hardly believe the shift in the atmosphere. The applause swelled like a tide, washing away the weight of his worries. Emma beamed at him, while Ethan's look of pride was like sunlight breaking through the clouds. It wasn't just about magic tricks anymore, he had shared his heart. The cheers morphed into laughter, and Noah felt as if he could ride that wave forever. But then came the double-edged blade of reality. Anton's eyes narrowed, a storm forming behind them. "Okay, this was cute," Anton said, feigning indifference. "But let us be honest, it's not like you've changed the world here. What else do you have?" Noah's breath caught. He wanted to hold on to this moment of triumph, but Anton's words threatened to tether him back to doubt. It felt like a punch in the gut. Was it ever enough? Can't you just be happy for him? Emma shot back, her voice a mix of frustration and defense. Noah glanced at her, grateful. "I just wanted to share something special," he murmured, trying to summon the confidence he had just tasted. He felt the heat of vulnerability creeping into his cheeks. "Yeah, well, special doesn't cut it if it's just kid stuff," Anton replied, folding his arms. The challenge hung heavy in the air. With a newfound determination, Noah began to speak. What if magic could change the past? What if he hesitated before gathering the courage to continue? What if I showed you something that could really blow your mind? The crowd hushed, curiosity piqued. The slight glimmers in their eyes mirrored his own hopes. Noah took a deep breath, the nervousness reaching a peak. He could try something bigger, something that would expand the magic beyond just entertainment. Noah hadn't prepared for this. He had planned to dazzle with fun tricks, not an emotional reveal. Yet, the idea beckoned to him like a siren's call. What if I could recreate a moment? He said, feeling the words spill from him like a spell. He thought of a scene dear to his heart: the family gatherings, the laughter, the love. I'm going to bring back a memory, he declared, fingers trembling with anticipation. Noah closed his eyes for a fraction of a second, envisioning his family together, everyone laughing at the dinner table. The glow of the overhead lights turned into soft candlelight in his imagination, filling him with warmth that radiated outward. He opened his eyes and gestured theatrically, gathering the energy from the diner. In this moment, I want everyone to think of something meaningful, something that makes them smile. The audience leaned in, intrigued. This wasn't just a performance anymore, it was an invitation to connect. He could see the flicker of understanding passing through the crowd. I want you all to share that moment with me, he instructed. As he pulled out a seemingly ordinary hat, he filled it with energy, imagining the laughter of families spilling out. With a flourish, he reached deep into the hat, pulling out a piece of paper, the shape of a heart. It was an allusion to the love that grounded every truly magical moment. Together with the crowd, he recounted a joyful memory, letting them feel the happiness that emanated from it. But just as the mood peaked, Anton scoffed. "See, Mon. That's not real magic." Noah's heart sank momentarily. His mind screamed for Anton to understand, to feel what he felt. Couldn't he see this was more than tricks? This was life, this was connection. Before he could rethink his next words, he blurted out, "What if we made this real? What if everyone here gathered a memory to create something unforgettable?" The murmurs grew, uncertain but intrigued. A spark flickered in some eyes, igniting a desire born from genuine curiosity. But would they be brave enough to join him in this journey? Ethan stepped closer, nodding, the surge of support pulling Noah forward. Anton's skepticism flickered, but would he step out of his shell or remain an obstacle? As Noah held the heart-shaped paper up high, he felt the weight of hope swirling in the air. What if this was the moment they all found something true together? What if truth could be magical? Noah couldn't help but wonder, would Anton's walls crumble, or would Noah's attempt at genuine connection break apart under the weight of harsh disbelief? Noah stood at the center of the diner, heart racing like a drum. The initial applause faded, replaced by an incongruous silence thick with uncertainty, and all eyes were on him, not just curious, but expectant. He could feel the heat of Anton's judgment mixed with sparks of intrigue from others in the room. For a moment, he lost himself in the flickers of doubt. Could he really craft something deep from the memories shared by others? Or had he just overstepped, opened a door to vulnerability that should have remained shut? "Gather your memories," he repeated softly, hoping the words would drift into the hearts of the crowd like a gentle breeze. "It can be anything: a moment that made you smile, a piece of joy you'd love to revisit." Emma, standing close, nodded vigorously, her encouragement a buoy in the rising tide of daunting expectations. Ethan, always his steadfast supporter, smiled at Noah, sparking a renewed flicker of courage within him. He wasn't alone in this. "There's mischief in magic," he continued, his voice gaining strength. "But there's power too. If we can conjure a moment together, then we can share something more profound than entertainment." Noah scanned the audience. His heart began to race again, not from fear, but from a stirring sense of connection. Several people leaned forward, intrigued. A woman, her eyes glistening, began to blush. "I think I remember a birthday where my son surprised me with a chocolate cake. He was so proud. He could hardly wait to watch me blow out the candles." "Perfect!" Noah exclaimed, igniting hope in the air. "Keep that moment close. We will share it in a collective spell of joy." As others dug into their own histories, Noah could almost sense the collective heartbeat of the diner shifting. The atmosphere transformed, the music of shared memories weaving an invisible thread among everyone present. He felt more than a performer, he was a curator of feelings, a conduit for human connection. Anton remained stuck like a stone, his skepticism weighing heavy. This is still just theatrics, Noah. You can't actually bring back memories. They slip away. The challenge in his voice was deliberate, trying to pull Noah into doubt's embrace once more. But Noah held firm. What if we can? Memories might never return in the same form, but we can relive the feelings they inspired. What if I told you the very act of remembering creates its own magic? A murmur traveled through the crowd, hesitantly at first. Noah continued, his voice growing steadier. Feel the love, the laughter. It can spark a moment that's just as real. If you can connect it to your heart, it becomes something tangible. The crowd began to nod. Some were smiling, others were tearing up, the raw emotion pulsing like an electric current. The walls started to shimmer with possibility. He took another deep breath, summoning every ounce of hope within him. Let us create a tapestry of our memories. Weave them together, share your stories. I know it's a risk, but what do we gain by holding back? Anton crossed his arms, and the challenge in his stance remained unyielding, but for once, he appeared slightly less disengaged. But what if it makes things worse? Anton asked finally, his voice softer now, raw vulnerability creeping into the cracks of his stoicism. That's the beauty of connection. Noah replied, emboldened. We step towards the unknown, but it's within that risk we often find our greatest rewards. With a glance to Emma and Ethan, he turned back to the crowd, his eyes sparkling with determined excitement. We'll be brave together. Anyone creating a memory, please step forward and share with us. The moment hung heavy, a pendulum of time at the edge of change. Would they take that leap with him? The diner buzzed with anticipation as a few brave souls started to rise, laughter and tears spilling into the air. But in the midst of it, Noah couldn't help but wonder, would Anton join them, or would he sidestep this opportunity for connection, stuck in his own shielded world? In that weighty silence, the heart of the collective journey began to pulse. A leap of faith was all it took. Would this be the night magic truly transformed the reality of everyone present? A woman stepped forward, her hands trembling slightly. Her voice quaked as she began, but the vulnerability infused her words with an undeniable strength. It was my wedding day. I was so scared, but when I saw my dad waiting for me at the end of the aisle, I knew everything would be okay. The way he smiled at me, it felt like he was giving me all his love in that moment. Noah could feel the atmosphere shift again. The diner seemed to breathe collectively, drawing in the warmth of her memory. As she spoke, others leaned in closer, captivated by the vivid portrait she painted. My dad told me I was beautiful. And right then, I felt like I could conquer anything. A tear rolled down her cheek, but her smile was radiant, shining through the emotion. Noah clapped softly, encouraging her, urging the crowd to do the same. Anton's arms were still crossed, but his brow furrowed slightly, a crack in his armor, a flicker of empathy surfacing. A young man approached next. I remember my little sister's graduation, he said, a nostalgic grin tugging at his lips. She was so nervous, like a kitten caught in a storm. And when they called her name, she practically flew across that stage. I was proud she was brave. We cheered so loud. His laughter echoed through the diner, a ripple of joy that seemed to sink into everyone's hearts. More and more stories began to emerge. A single mother shared her story of her daughter's first steps, a retired teacher reminisced about a student who inspired her to keep teaching, and another woman recounted the times they spent huddled around her grandma's kitchen table, baking cookies. Noah felt emotional currents weaving through the space. Memories turned into threads binding the crowd together, making them feel seen, heard, and connected. As the stories flowed, Noah sensed the tide turning. Anton began to unfold his arms, a glimmer of recognition crossing his face. What he had dismissed as mere theatrics seemed to be revealing a deeper truth about connection. Maybe Anton started hesitantly, his voice almost lost among the laughter, maybe memories do create a magic of their own. Noah's heart soared. Yes. It's in the sharing that we gather strength. We find comfort in each other's stories. The laughter, the tears, everything converged into a powerful collective experience. The diner felt alive, brimming with the sweetness of nostalgia and the warmth of community. Then, from the back, a soft voice broke through. A girl, maybe 12, shyly stood up. She brushed aside her long hair to reveal bright eyes glazed with apprehension. I don't have a memory like everyone else, but her fingers trembled as she spoke. The minute her words hung in the air, the room fell completely silent. Each person there held their breath, waiting for what she might share. Last Christmas, my brother and I made a fort in our living room. Mom helped us hang fairy lights. We listened to music and ate cookies. When I looked at my brother's face while the lights flickered, I felt warm inside. Like I was home. I don't know if it's a big deal, but it felt magical. The honesty of her words cut through the lingering doubts, offering an unexpected depth. There was rawness in her youthfulness and uncomplicated truth that reminded everyone how special even the simplest moments could be. Noah's chest tightened. It wasn't just one incredible story after another, it was the collective vulnerability, each person bravely stepping into the light. And then, just as the energy seemed to settle into a gentle glow, Anton moved forward. There was hesitation in his stride, but determination flickered behind his eyes. Can I say something? I've been caught up in blocking everything out for so long. Maybe it's time I faced the memories I've been avoiding. The weight of his revelation echoed through the diner. Gasps mixed with murmurs of encouragement filled the air. Noah held his breath, feeling the incredible shift in Anton. This was no longer just about memories, it was about healing, about breaking down barriers, lit by the possibility that connection could inspire transformation. Will you join us? Noah asked. Anton hesitated, his battle with vulnerability still evident. But Noah felt that tonight, everyone could witness each other's light, and in that moment, he knew it was about to get even more profound. Could Anton find his own light amid the collective warmth of shared stories? Would he take the plunge into the magic of connection, just like the rest? Anton stood there, feeling an urge bubbling to the surface. The eyes of the diner were on him, not in judgment, but in support. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture that seemed to pull away doubts, urging clarity in their place. What if he started, his voice cracking a little? What if my memories aren't enough? What if I share something and it doesn't resonate like yours? Noah stepped forward, hoping to bridge the gap between Anton's fear and the understanding growing around them. But that's the beauty of this. Your experience is valid, no matter what it is. We're not here to compare. We're just here to connect. Anton swallowed hard. The sincerity in Noah's voice pushed him to reconsider. Maybe it was time to let go of the guarded wall he'd built for so long. In a sudden rush, he found the words spilling out. Okay. I remember the first time my dad showed me how to ride a bike. I was terrified, my legs were shaking, my heart racing. He kept saying, I got you, I won't let you fall. I kept asking him to hold me, but he knew I needed to find my balance on my own. I fell a lot, but he was there, every time, patiently encouraging me to get back up. The diner felt the weight of his admission. Laughter died down, replaced by a solemn respect. I think, Anton continued, searching faces for connection, that maybe he was teaching me about life, about falling and getting back up. But also about trusting myself. At that moment, the girl from before nodded eagerly, her wide eyes lighting up. Like a superhero, she whispered, her voice barely slicing through the silence. We fall, and the superhero inside us stands back up. A wave of warmth spread through the room. Anton was surprised, but the girl's metaphor inspired more smiles, turning Anton's vulnerability into shared strength. Yes. Came a voice from the back of the diner. A waitress, wiping down tables, had paused to listen. It's like life is a series of battles, and every time we get back up, we're saying, I'm still in this. Encouragement rippled around, words intertwining in recognition. Exactly, Anton replied, the heaviness in his chest starting to lift. I've let fear hold me back from realizing that I can still ride my bike, in whatever form it may take. Noah felt the energy shift. There was a new lightness threading through the crowd. Anton wasn't just sharing a memory, he was unveiling a part of himself that had been hidden for too long, like a flower breaking through asphalt. When Anton finished, the applause was spontaneous, a collective affirmation lifting him from deep within. But more than that, there was a quality of resonance. Each shared story had dug at their hearts, forging even deeper connections among them. As the clapping faded, another voice chimed in, bold and inviting. What about the rest of us? We haven't shared our moments. The night is still young. Noah scanned the room. Excitement buzzed, and he could see storytelling was becoming a ripple effect. The more shared, the more encouraged everyone became. It wasn't just about individual experiences, it was the dance of shared humanity, cradling them all in warmth and safety. Who else wants to go? He asked, raising the spirits even higher. Me. I have one. Shouted the young man from earlier, but his voice was accompanied by a chorus of eagerness from others, each wanting to share their precious moments. In that instant, Anton realized something profound. They were all in this together, weaving a tapestry of experience that defined life, crafted from each personal triumph and moment of joy. But deep down, he still felt a faint whisper. Could he really carry this transformation outside of the diner? He would need to face the outside world again and confront things he had long pushed away. Anton felt the urge to stand and yell out what was on his mind. Would it still feel as bright tomorrow? Or would darkness creep back in, just waiting for that story to end? As laughter erupted from another shared tale, Anton's heart started racing again, a combination of hope and trepidation. If memories held magic, then perhaps what they were creating together was something far more powerful. Was he ready to step into his own story, not just in this moment, but beyond these diner walls? The echo of laughter hung in the air, filling every crevice of his heart with doubt but also hope. And so, he stood on the cusp of something bigger. What would he discover when he ventured into the unknown? The laughter and excitement in the diner swirled around Anton, wrapping him in a comforting haze. He couldn't shake the thrill, the joy of being part of something larger than himself. The moment felt electric, like the crackle of static before a storm. But as he stood there, ready to embrace the next story, a voice caught his attention. Anton, it was the young man from earlier, his face gleaming with excitement. I've had this moment too. I just never had the courage to share it. The diner turned toward him, their eyes filled with anticipation. My dad, the young man began, his voice firm, taught me to play basketball. I was too small for my age, and the other kids would laugh. But he wouldn't let me quit. He said, you have to believe you can shoot the ball, even if you miss. So, we practiced every Saturday. I'd make so many mistakes, but he just kept saying, see? You're learning. Anton noticed the way the young man's hands passed through the air, mimicking jump shots and dribble moves. It was as if the memories lifted him, making the whole diner feel the weight of those weekends spent learning and growing. By now, filled with shared energy, a chorus of voices joined in. The waitress chimed in about her own childhood dreams of cooking, a retiree spoke about rediscovering art, and a couple shared their long journey through love's ups and downs. Each voice filled the room, a symphony of memories layered upon one another. As the stories flowed, Anton felt a warmth creep into his heart. What once felt solitary now transformed into a kaleidoscope of experiences, each rendition rich with emotion, struggles, and victories. Their stories were like pieces of a puzzle, fitting together to create a clearer picture of resilience and hope. And that's why I keep coming back here, the older woman concluded as everyone's eyes turned toward her. This diner isn't just a place to eat. It's a community. We remind each other that we're not alone in our battles. Anton took a deep breath, feeling the spark ignite within him. He glanced around, seeing faces filled with emotion, reflecting bits of his own journey. And as silence settled over the diner momentarily, he knew he had to say something more, something that tapped into the surge of motivation flowing between them. "Can I ask something?" Anton's voice broke the quiet, but it felt like a ripple traversing water. The room turned to him. "What if we all got together outside of this? To keep sharing our stories, not just in this diner but everywhere. What if we formed something bigger?" A murmur of excitement coursed through the diner. Hope flickered in the eyes of his fellow storytellers, the energy shifting into an electrifying possibility. What if it became a way to reach others? Someone called out. To spread this sense of community. Anton felt his pulse quicken. This was the moment when they could step beyond fears and forge bonds that could uplift more than just the small group around the table. This could reach far and wide. "Let us do it," Anton exclaimed, so full of conviction that it surprised even him. "Let us share our moments on a bigger stage. We can create a platform where stories matter, where we can meet regularly and uplift one another." The room erupted in cheers and claps, the sound of their excitement wrapping around them like an embrace. An idea had taken flight, spiraling into the future. But deep inside, doubt crept back in. How would they sustain this momentum? Could they genuinely keep the connection alive in a world that often pulled people apart? As the laughter echoed through the diner and plans began to sprout, Anton felt both terror and excitement. Excitement that their journey could be just beginning, but fear of the challenges that lay ahead. The uncertainty tasted bittersweet, each bead of sweat on his brow was a testament to the journey to come. Tomorrow, he knew, would be a test of everything they had built, of the connections they had made. Would they rise together like the memories they shared? What if, when they stepped out into the world as a united front, they faced shadows that sought to break their bond? The thought loomed, echoing in his mind, but he couldn't shake the resolve sparking within. This was more than a one-time moment. This was the starting line of their new race, one fueled by stories and friendships forged in vulnerability and warmth. And with that realization, he stood taller than before. He thought about stepping into this new journey together with his newfound friends. What awaited them on the other side? The diner pulsed with energy, laughter and storytelling, creating a vibrant tapestry of connection. Anton felt lighter as he turned to Noah, who seemed to radiate a mix of hope and pride. It was a moment filled with promise, but also uncertainty. The atmosphere was alive. Could it be sustained beyond this one enchanting evening? Ethan stepped forward, his eyes mirroring the warmth that had blossomed in the room. "This is just the beginning, right? We can start meetings, get together regularly to share stories." His words resonated, creating ripples of excitement and agreement. "Yes. Let us keep this going." Emma chimed in, her enthusiasm contagious. "We can make it a real community event with music, games, and more." Noah caught on, his heart swelling with happiness. "What if we set up a wall where everyone can jot down their favorite memories? Everyone can contribute." As they shared ideas, Anton's heart raced at the thought of transforming the diner into a hub of warmth and support. The conversations flowed, plans unfolding in a rhythm as comfortable as old friends reunited. "We could call it the Maplewood moment," a voice called from the back. Laughter and consensus erupted, their combined excitement growing louder and more powerful. Anton felt a pull of nostalgia. The weight he had carried for so long felt lighter with each idea shared. What began as doubt had morphed into a shared vision. Would this really become a beacon for others, turning judgment into acceptance, and loneliness into camaraderie? The waitress returned, joining in, "I can help organize. I've seen so many people come in here who need a place like this. It could be amazing." Every idea was an ember igniting hope. In that sea of supportive energy, Noah stepped closer to Anton, his eyes filled with an understanding that seemed to bridge their worlds. I think you're part of this meeting too, Anton. You bring something powerful. You've been through your own battles, and that's just as valuable. Anton felt his throat tighten. Noah wasn't just talking about magic tricks anymore, they were both sharing life's ups and downs. Would this spark of connection reach others far beyond this diner? The midnight hour approached, but the exuberance filled the diner with light, drowning out any remnants of darkness. Voices carried, plans melding into a cohesive tapestry of dreams. We'll need to spread the word, Ethan suggested, maybe even create a social media page, make it official. Their excitement mingled in the air. Laughing people began exchanging phone numbers, excitement spilling over. Anton felt something shift deep inside. He was no longer an outsider peeking into a world where warmth lived, now he was a part of this family. But as they wrapped up the momentum of the meeting, a familiar fear crept in. How could they maintain this connection in the real world? Would it survive the chaos of life outside the diner's comforting walls? Let's set a date for our first gathering, Emma said, breaking through his thoughts. Every month, we can meet and share stories. Can we? Anton felt hope blending with the fear. What if no one shows up? What if it falls flat? Ethan kneeled close, squeezing Anton's shoulder. That's okay to feel, but you don't have to carry that alone anymore. We're in this together. Those simple words felt profound. Anton felt an unexpected warmth, as if woven into the tapestry they had created. He looked around the table and saw the glow in every face, each one brimming with possibilities. And then it hit him, the magic wasn't just in recalling their individual stories, it was in coming together with open hearts. There was a secret ingredient to build on, encouragement and acceptance. With those bonds, they would face the world together. As the diner began to empty, light spilled through the windows, illuminating the connections formed in the previous hours. That feeling of unity wrapped around him like a warm blanket, banishing the chill of doubt. Tonight was amazing, Noah said quietly, looking around. Thank you for being brave enough to start this, all of you. His words carried weight, wrapping empathy around each person there, including Anton. The exhilaration began to settle into a comforting camaraderie. Anton grinned back, knowing he wasn't alone anymore. Will you keep sharing? Noah added hopefully, addressing everyone. Will you promise to come back and share more? The collective promise hung in the air like sweet perfume, cementing their pact of adventure. Together, they were about to embark on a new journey, hearts open, ready to confront challenges, armed with the magic of their shared stories. Let us not wait too long then. Someone exclaimed as they moved towards the door, a buzz of excitement following them into the chilly night. As Anton stepped outside, he inhaled the crisp air like it was a fresh beginning. The streetlights lit his path, each step filled with resonant possibility. He felt lighter, balanced. They were all stepping into the unknown together, a tapestry woven with empathy, courage, and a promise of connection. Finally, with a bright smile, he turned to Noah, allowing joy to pour from him. I'm in, he said, a newfound determination spread in his chest. Let us keep building this magic, together. As laughter echoed through the air, Anton understood. This was the magic they were meant to create. This is just the beginning. Don't wait another moment. Subscribe immediately to catch more exclusive stories like this. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread the positivity. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. Let us know how it touched your heart. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who embody the spirit of transformation. Let us keep this magic alive. Only true fans know how important it is to support this channel, so get involved and be part of this journey.